Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we are here for the Chicago preview for the NASCAR Cup Series, and we're talking the Chicago Street Race and another race we're really looking forward to watching this weekend.
It is, and for the third year, and I do pray they have good weather. The racing's been actually, even with weather, some great racing. I know the first year was a little bit tougher, but the accommodations that have been made, and I know, Sharon, you were there last year, still got a little bit of rain, but that's part of it. We had the wet weather tire. The way it played out was interesting. Alex Bowman getting the win. I just hope there is good weather for this third and possible final year, and they go out with a bang. And I don't mean that with a bang of a big wreck or anything, just on a good note.
Good high note, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Let me rephrase that. Go out on a high note.
All right. Now, this race is the Grant Park 165. It's a Chicago street course race at 2.2 miles, and they are racing on Sunday, July the 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, TNT is carrying the coverage. This is round 2 of the in-season challenge. And so TNT will have coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Radio coverage is on MRN and SiriusXM, NASCAR Channel 90. And I think they're doing what they did last week. True TV will do an altcast where you can actually see them talking about that in-season challenge throughout the race. So, and ahead of time, I think they come on about a half hour before the race starts to start talking about that.
Is there really a whole lot left to talk about other than how we all missed it because of what happened in Atlanta?
Yeah, I think just about everybody's. They said nobody had a perfect bracket after the first race.
Yeah, there ain't no way. I don't care how psychic you are to have picked that many upsets. I mean, again, 3 of your top 4 seeds are out. Yeah, there was no way somebody had that.
Yeah, I felt good that I had 6.
Yeah, you're ahead of the rest of us here at Fan for Racing. I only had 5.
Okay, well, MRN, SiriusXM, NASCAR Channel 90 will also have radio coverage. And then they're racing a distance of 165 miles over 75 laps. First stage is 20 laps ending on lap 20. Second stage is going to be 25 laps ending on lap 45. And then the final stage is going to be 30 laps ending on lap 75. So really looking forward to this race. They will have their practice and Busch Light Pole qualifying on True TV, MRN, and SiriusXM at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the race will actually take place on Sunday at 2 p.m., as we mentioned earlier. And again, they will have that outcast on True TV and as well as SiriusXM at 2 p.m. So you want to catch all the things that they talk about. And the big storyline is everybody's bracket is busted already.
Yeah. With that, though, to mix some things up this weekend, there are 5 open teams that are going to be competing for 4 spots, as there's 41 teams and drivers entered for 40 spots. So unfortunately, one team driver going to have to go home. The number 13 is going to be Will Brown. We talked about that through the Xfinity. We'll preview that. The number 13, Austin Hill. The number 66, that'll be Josh Bilicki in the Garage 66 team with Carl Long. The 67 is Corey Heim, and I believe that is a 2311 team. But I may be wrong on that. But it is a Toyota back team, obviously. And then the number 78, BJ McLeod's team, Live Fast Motorsports, will be Catherine Legg. So, again, one team going to have to go home. Now, this weekend on the Cup side as well as the Xfinity is the third running of a NASCAR Cup Series race at the Chicago Street Course, running from 2023 to 2025.
And we're not really anticipating that it's going to be back next year. Now, both Chicago winners got their first win of the season. Shane Van Gisbergen in the 23 and then Alex Bowman in 24 were both first-time winners for the season. in the Chicago Street Race victories.
Well, and we'll see if that continues, as we had a first-time winner on the season anyway last week in Atlanta. But a couple of names that might be the ones: Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell, and Kyle Busch. And the reason those three are listed together, they're the only drivers to finish in top 10 in both of the Chicago Street Course races so far. I would not have picked those as the three, I'll tell you that.
Well, they're all good drivers. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen won on the Chicago streets in 2023 and finished last in 2024. I think something happened and he was out of the race early last year. Alex Bowman finished last in 2023, but he won in 2024. So they just swapped spots.
That is ironic. How about that?
Yeah, that is ironic. And it's not something I had picked up on. So that's
I hadn't heard that either. Now, unfortunately, I did mention this in kind of the preview and what we hoping for good weather. Rain tires were used in both Chicago street races so far. Hopefully that doesn't happen this year, but we've seen good racing with them. So if it does, we know they can handle it.
Yes, indeed. Now, Hendrick Motorsports leads all teams on the Chicago Street Course with 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. They also won the pole in the race there last year, with Larson on the pole and Bowman winning the race.
A little more on Alex Bowman. He got his last of 8 Cup wins on the Chicago Street Course last July. He started 8th and led only the final 8 laps en route to his 8th win on the Cup side.
And Alex Bowman is the only driver to win at Chicagoland and the Chicago Street Course race. He got the Chicagoland, his first Cup win at Chicagoland Speedway in 2019 in the last race held on the oval, and won the last race on the Chicago Street Course in 2024.
Well, and as it stands right now, that would hold true unless we get a new winner here on the Chicago Street Course or Chicagoland comes back. Now, 3 of the 8 remaining races before the playoffs are on road courses. We got 2 back-to-back this weekend on the Chicago Street Course, and then we'll follow that up with Sonoma out in California. And then the last one will be later in the season. That'll be up in New York at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, so all 3 good tracks. Now, each of the last 5 road course races were won by a different driver. So 5 road courses, 5 different drivers winning. 5
of the last 11 road course races were won by drivers getting their first road course career win. So that's a little interesting. We're talking almost 50% of it first-time winners on a road course.
Yeah. Okay, now Hendrick Motorsports, of course, leads all teams in poles. They also lead all teams in wins, top 5s, top 10s, laps led, and average finish on road courses in the next gen era, which is from 2022 to the current year. So they just have been very dominant this year in the Cup Series.
What's really ironic about that to me is Chase Elliott has not been the leader of that pack on road courses in the next gen era. He was very strong prior to that, but he has not been the leader when it comes to this next gen era. But Hendrick Motorsports still on top. And speaking of that, their drivers have won 5 of the last 9 road course races, with 3 different drivers winning. You got William Byron and Kyle Larson with 2 each, and Alex Bowman 1. Again, we're missing Chase Elliott.
Now, the Stage 1 winner finished outside the top 10 in each of the last 5 road courses. So whoever wins in Stage 1, they might just finish outside the top 10 before it's all said and done, according to that stat.
And that's why you watch these races. There's strategy involved in that. They'll give up the stage win early in the race to go for the win.
Yes.
Now, been talking about Chase Elliott lacking a little bit. That doesn't mean he's a slouch, as him and Christopher Bell finished in the top 5 in the last 3 road course races, and that's the longest active streak. So again, it's not that he's not there. He's just not winning like he was.
Well, let's talk about Chase Elliott, though, because he leads all drivers with 10 top 5 finishes in the next-gen car on road courses. But none of his 7 road course wins came in that next-gen car. So that's an interesting stat as well.
So he is still considered the best driver, just not getting the wins.
Mhm.
Bell, on the other hand, is there as he finished in the top 2 in the last 3 road course races, and that included a win at COTA Circuit of America earlier this year.
And Chris Buescher has the best average finish on road courses in the next-gen car. His average finish sits at 8.8. Chase Elliott is the only other driver with a top 10 average finish on road courses in the next-gen car. There you go, Jay. 9.8. He's the
There
next.
you go. Huh. And I knew that they had labeled Chris Buescher as the best average. Unfortunately, Sharon, your favorite here is on the opposite end of all this. Ryan Blaney is on a 20 race streak without a top 5 finish on road courses. And he's quite the road course racer as well. I know he's got a win at the Roval in Charlotte.
Well, and it's just disappointing because he runs race well during the race. It's just something always seems to happen that takes him out of it at the end. Okay, now Denny Hamlin's only top 10 finish on a road course in his 18 starts in the next-gen car is a runner-up that came at Watkins Glen, and that was in August of 2023. That's kind of an astounding stat.
Well, I got one more for you. Brad Keselowski. He's on a 17 race streak without a top 10 finish on a road course. I got confidence in him this weekend, though. He has come so close to winning. Yes. And if he does, talk about the point shakeup. Ho ho.
Yep, because he's well below that cut line right now. All right, now the driver leading the most laps won 6 of the last 10 road courses. And I like seeing that stat because it tells me whoever's leading the most laps is likely the guy that's going to win the race.
And both Chicago street course winners took the lead for the final time with 8 laps to go. We talked about that of it coming down to the end. So 8 laps to go is the target here in the Chicago street course for the Cup Series.
All right. Now, we talked about Chris Buescher having the best average finish. Well, he's finished in the top 10 in the last 4 races and that's tied for his longest Cup Series top 10 finish streak. So congratulations to Chris Buescher. He might break it, though, this weekend.
I think so. And we were talking about that of just Roush Fenway, Keselowski in general. I believe they've had all 3 drivers in the top 10 for at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. So a huge turnaround for the whole organization. Now, the last 9 races of 2025 are won by 9 different drivers. 7 of their 9 got their first win of the season. So we like to watch these streaks. Can we go 10 in a row here this weekend?
Yes. And back to Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick Motorsports had at least 1 car finish top 5 in the last 26 races. That's the team's longest ever top 5 streak in the Cup Series.
Well, we talked about
another one this weekend at Chicago.
I think so, without a doubt. I don't see how that doesn't happen. At least one of the 4 they have. Now, speaking of them, this was way early in the season, but we're back. The top 3 drivers in the 2025 regular season standings now are all Hendrick Motorsports drivers. William Byron still leads in first. It's Chase Elliott that's now in second. Yeah. Kyle Larson slid a little bit. He's back to third. He was battling up at the top, actually, with William Byron. Now, it's the 3rd race this year that the top 3 in regular season standings were all Hendrick Motorsports drivers. It's the first season since 2014, though, that Hendrick drivers ranked 1, 2, 3 in points for multiple races in the season.
Okay. Well, 2025 is the 2nd straight season that Chase Elliott completed all but 1 lap in the season, entering the 18th race. So that's kind of amazing. All but 1 lap.
And just scanning down it, I don't see it in our notes here. So I'll go ahead and ask you, Sharon, who are the 2 drivers without a DNF yet on the 2025 season.
Oh, I know this.
Well, there's
Chase
one of them right
Elliott, I
there.
think, is
Yep,
one of
Chase
them.
Elliott is one of them.
And I'm trying to think who the other one is. I can't recall right offhand.
Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick. That's right. I knew that.
Now, that doesn't mean, like you said, Chase Elliott has missed one lap. It's not on the lead lap. It's just not a DNF. All right, so talking a little bit more about Chase Elliott, he became the 4th driver to reach 20 wins with Hendrick Motorsports after he picked up that Atlanta win last weekend.
Okay, and 41 drivers on the entry list this weekend are the most since 45 started for the 2025 Daytona 500. An interesting stat there. As you said, one driver won't make it.
You know, and it's not very often, I would say, of back in the day that I missed something, but seeing a full entry list, not that I want to see drivers have to go home, but seeing more drivers on the list than spots makes for interesting qualifying and intensity. So I do kind of miss that. Now, 7 of the 15 road course regular season races in the next gen car were won by a driver ranked 16th or worse in the playoff standings, and that includes both of the Chicago races. Last year, Alex Bowman, I don't remember exactly where, I think it was like 18th. And then Shane Van Gisbergen in year 1 obviously wasn't ranked at all, as that was his first race.
Yes. Here's another good stat. The season's 82% of the laps at road course races were led by drivers that are above the playoff cut.
And I'm guessing the 18% that weren't were Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yes, probably. Okay. So there's a lot of really good information here. I was looking at some of the street course history. The NASCAR street course history. Racing at Chicagoland street course is not the first time they've done this, which is kind of interesting. So I might do a story on that. And then talk about the different landmarks. Let's go over this, Jay, because this is kind of interesting, the different landmarks that they'll go by on their road course, starting with Grant Park.
All right. It's a city park, a 310-acre centerpiece of downtown, housing some of the city's busiest attractions.
And it's fascinating. Now, bordered by Lake Michigan and the Monroe Harbor.
And it's named for President Ulysses S. Grant, and it was originally known as Lake Park.
Okay, sometimes Grant Park is referred to as Chicago's front yard because it's right on the lake, and that's what you see before you get to anything else.
It's also the location for President Barack Obama's Election Day victory speech back in 2008.
It also includes, and I love Buckingham Fountain. It also includes the Art Institute, which I enjoy that as well, and the museum campus, which includes like the aquarium as well as the Museum of Natural History. So there's a lot to do when you're right there on Grant Park.
You see me shaking my head when you talk about Buckingham Fountain. I always think of Married with Children, horse and carriage. That's the scene behind it when they're singing that.
They do show that.
It is also the start-finish line of the Chicago Marathon.
And 4 miles of walking paths. And that's one of the things I love about the lakefront. You see runners and walkers and bicycle people. It is well traveled.
And it's got 16, that's a lot, 16 softball and baseball fields, as well as 12 tennis courts. And I know the couple times I've been through there on the beach anyway side of it, they had like 20 some volleyball courts set up. They had some type of tournament when I was there.
Oak Street Beach. Okay, now also major events that have happened in Grant Park. They always have a regular schedule of concerts. So that's always happening downtown at Grant Park.
As well as Lollapalooza.
The Chicago Blues Festival.
And I have seen or heard of this one. I would love to go to it sometime. The Taste of Chicago.
Okay, now Buckingham Fountain, we talked about that. It's one of the world's largest fountains, using as much as 15,000 gallons of water per minute.
Wow.
That's astounding.
It was a gift to the city from Kate Sturgis Buckingham, the American art collector and philanthropist, in memory of her brother Clarence in 1927, at that time at a cost of $750,000.
Yeah, it's quite interesting how that's maintained. I saw a special on it once, and there's a lot of underground there that is pretty fascinating. Now, Buckingham Fountain does operate from April to October with water displays every 20 minutes and a light and water display after dark. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. The Turn 4 Field Museum, that's a state-of-the-art museum of science and invention with the world's largest Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, that's the one I call the history museum, but they do call that the Field Museum. Hutchinson Field, that's a field, that's an area, and it's really incredible when you think about it. There's a golf course, there's all these softball fields. You wouldn't think of a metropolitan city having that much open space to be able to have this, but softball fields are located between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. But even further up, there's a lot of the baseball fields that are played on as well.
Now, if you're looking at a map of the actual road course, it says off turn 11, so that'll tell you if you know the area, is the Art Institute of Chicago, 111 South Michigan Avenue. And that's a renowned art museum that holds nearly 300,000 works of art from all over the world, spanning many centuries, with pieces from both Van Gogh, not Van Gisbergen, Van Gogh, and Picasso.
I've got a Chicago Art Institute story to tell you, but I'm not going to do it now. I'll tell you offline.
All right.
Now, turn 12 off to the left is Butler Field. That's South Lakeshore Drive and East Monroe Street. They have a park and music venue there.
The final straight before the start finish line off to the right, that'll be Columbus Drive, is Abraham Lincoln, the head of the state, which is a landmark on 337 East Randolph Street, just off Columbus Drive.
And it is a bronze of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th U.S. president, designed by sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens and set in a leafy park. Everybody here is very proud of that.
I know some of the drivers talked about it, not that they can necessarily look at them as they're going by at 90 miles an hour, but they said it was very unique to know as they were going by these different landmarks and stuff, just the history and whatnot of it, how a rich honor it was to be a part of that and have this street course in Chicago.
Yes. And I want to just bring up Joey Logano here as well, because Joey Logano, you know, we've talked about this. He's nominated for the 2025 ESPY's Best Driver Award. The Team Penske driver and three-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Joey Logano from Middletown, Connecticut, has been nominated for the 2024 Best Driver Award at the ESPYs. He joins Oscar Piastri, and Max Verstappen from Formula One, as well as IndyCar's Alex Palou, were also nominated for the award. So it'll be interesting to see if Joey gets that. The 35-year-old Cup Series champion Logano could join the likes of Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Jimmy Johnson as NASCAR drivers who have taken home the hardware during the annual ESPY Award show. You can visit ESPN.com to vote.
Well, I knew a couple of those going back all the way back to Martin Truex and Jimmy Johnson. I did not know Kevin Harvick had, as well as Kyle Busch. Larson was the other one I did know. And I know you were reading through the motorsports history in Chicago as well. Was interesting reading, though.
Yeah, it is interesting reading. And that I'm going to put into an article as well, because a lot of people think of racing happening in the South or in the East. Actually, Chicago hosted the nation's first ever auto race on Thanksgiving Day of 1895. And I'll have more about that in that article. So I bet a lot of people don't know that little tidbit.
No, that was news to me. I was kind of scanning through it as we got ready to come on the air here tonight.
Okay, so do you want to cover the points here for the Cup Series?
All right, let me find those and pull them up. Okay, we talked about it, the dominance of Hendrick Motorsports at the top. You got William Byron, 1 win, but 7 stage wins, 12 playoff points. Chase Elliott now in second with his one win and 5 playoff points. Kyle Larson really kind of has been the most dominant, at least most of the season. 3 wins, 8 stages, has a total of 23 playoff points, and that's the highest. Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell each have 3 wins. Denny Hamlin, though, has 4 stages, gives him 19 playoff points. Bell only has 1, has a total of 16 built up.
They're actually tied also.
Oh, yep, they sure are. 4th and 5th at 551. We talk about that. The ties are going to could be very important.
Mm-hmm.
And now keep in mind, Denny Hamlin did miss a race as Mexico City as well. 6 is Tyler Reddick, doesn't have a win yet, but 1 playoff point in the bank. Ryan Blaney did get his victory finally. Has 3 stage wins, though, so has 8 playoff points. Ross Chastain with his win at Charlotte has 5 playoff points built up. Chris Buescher doesn't have any wins, and unfortunately right now, even with the stage win, he's at -4 playoff points because he had that 5-point penalty. He's only gotten 1 of them back. Chase Briscoe, 1 win and a stage for 6 points for the playoffs. Joey Logano, 1 win and 2 stages for 7. Alex Bowman, so close. Right now he's in 12th. Zeros across the board as far as wins, stages, or playoff points. 13th, and this will be important. They're going to come back to him. Bubba Wallace, 2 stage wins for 2 playoff points if he makes the playoffs. Yes. Ryan Preece in 14th, same thing. Then you got Austin Cindric in 15th, has a win in 3 stages for 8 playoff points. 16th listed as Eric Jones, no wins or stage wins for any playoff points. However, go back to 19th, you got Josh Berry. That's a win. He's in. Down to 32nd, Shane Van Gisbergen, a win and a stage, 6 playoff points. He's in. So you got to take Eric Jones out as well as would be Austin Cindric, but he's locked. So it goes to Ryan Preece. Bubba Wallace in 13th is the cut line, 428 points. He's got a 23-point gap over Ryan Preece. Both of these very solid and steady drivers. But again, especially like this weekend, new winner from below the cut line, and that would shift up to Alex Bowman, who's in 12th at 444, and only 1 point above him is Joey Logano. I read somewhere where it talked about going back to the year Ryan Blaney almost didn't get in, being 3rd in points, but didn't have a win, and there were that many winners in the field already. So, it was possible to get him bumped out. He was actually in contention for the regular season.
Yes.
If by chance you're leading the regular season points and don't have a win, you would still lock in. But we thought that was almost improbable. But Ryan Blaney was in that boat for a while a couple of years ago.
Yes, he was, and I'm glad he continued on. Okay. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on here, Jay?
No, it'll be really interesting. Again, kind of put the odds-on favorite of SVG. But talking about this cut line, I see somebody that already has a winning this race this weekend. But we might see, like we saw with Alex Bowman last year, and it could be Alex Bowman again. He doesn't have that win yet. He chose to be a teammate and get in line and protect Chase Elliott, if you will. Ended up 3rd at Atlanta. Brad Keselowski, 3 weeks in a row. I know at, what was it, the race I missed that you said at Pocono, miscue in the pits and pitted while pit road was closed. Looked like he might very well be on his way to victory there. They have been so strong as of late, and Brad mentioned it, 17 races.
Won last weekend too.
Again. So I think that team right now, but that also means he's got to contend with his teammates. talking about road course. I know it's a street course, but road course average goes to Chris Buescher. He could be in contention. Buescher is 9th in points. So again, that's one up from Alex Bowman, because you got to skip over Joey Logano and Chase Briscoe as far as locked in with the win. Chris Buescher could be there. Ryan Preece, maybe not the best road course racer, but solid. And that'll come into play. They could still be working their way towards $1 million too in the in-season challenge. I know it don't mean much to us as fans who got our brackets busted, but somebody there in the driver's side still going for $1 million.
Yes. And do watch for more. We are working on trying to get our round 2 preview for the in-season challenge, so stay tuned for that. We have completed our reviews for both the Xfinity and the Cup Series racing on the Chicago street course this weekend. And then, of course, on Monday, we'll be back to review both of those races and everything, set you up for the conclusion. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern time on Monday night is our live stream for the Hot Topic Sound Off. And this will be episode 2519. And I'm telling you, we've already got a list started.
Yeah, certainly going to be some interesting discussion, I think, just off the one topic alone of what is going to happen and what could happen. We don't know anything yet, but that don't mean we can't talk about it. Based on speculation. There you go, speculation.
Yeah, one thing that I want to make sure fans do realize is that we do speculate a lot in our Hot Topic Sound Off. So take that into consideration. All right. We also want to say thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate you. And we've gotten some nice conversations going. I told you about the Lime Rock Park. We had a couple of people that actually went to the race and commented on our Lime Rock reviews. So always appreciate it when people comment and tell us what's going on and what their thoughts are. And we've had quite a few people now starting to participate in that. So thank you to those folks.
Yes, indeed. We do appreciate it. And especially on Hot Topics, that's a live feed. Get involved in the conversation. Provide your own hot topics. Maybe there's something we missed. Maybe you want to throw something in you don't want to talk about. Hey, Sharon got on me for that on Monday night. So I threw a topic out there and then said I didn't want to talk about it. That's how this goes.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Okay. But we hope everybody has a very happy and safe 4th of July. Be careful out there. Enjoy the time that you have with your family and friends. Those are special moments and times, creating memories. So we'll look forward to seeing everybody back on the other side of the race weekend and talking all about the races from Chicago. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, Jay. Are you going to be at a racetrack at all? Do you have any races?
I don't know. Could be Louisiana, could be Georgia, or could be at home watching them. Like I said, I really don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing on Wednesday. That was today.
That was today.
Yeah.
It's almost over, Jay.
Yeah, there you go. That's how far behind I am.
Okay, everybody. I tell you, I'm exhausted. I've had an extremely busy day today. So looking forward to seeing everybody on the other side. Take care.